Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live Q&A session with me and Mr. Chris Palmer, sponsored by Randy the News Guy, 38 Digital Market, press releases. The link is below. Everyone knows him in the industry already, but if you don't, check out the link. He offers press releases and a whole bunch of other services, as well as web design, if you want that. We actually went through your website yesterday, Randy, and me and Mike, and yeah, we seen all the full services that you offer. So if you are struggling, check out Randy the News Guy, 38 Digital Market. Link is below, and see what's available. But Chris, you were saying something just as we were going live there. What was it again?
Well, I was squeezing through this little cubby hole here, just getting a little tubby. That's all. I think it's only like 6 or 7 pounds, but it's all right.
Oh Jesus! Oh jeez! Another guest posting provider.
Oh, what's the link? No. Get in line.
I had like 5 yesterday in the chat. The thing is, you can't block them because they're coming from LinkedIn. So yeah, thank you for the spam, Kizar. But we do have a quick question early on from SEO Fan Lead. If I have an auto blogging plugin and I source the content I rip off, what's the pros and cons of doing it?
So I much prefer making the web better, right? Rip it off is such a strong term. So we're curating content, repurposing it, making the web better. And in that process, the pros of this is a consistency of content. I think that's the main objective here, right? Because it's not like you're going to be doing this on a client site, right? So it's probably for yourself. You know, you don't have to come up with new content ideas because you already have someone else's content team coming up with it for you, right? So you have a fresh array of different content and content topics and ideas and just flooding in to where all you have to do is just recreate it or repurpose it in a way that it's not plagiarism. I've seen people just copy and paste and then get indexed faster. And now it's your content. I've seen that, but that's up to you. I think it's just the content. The consistency of content makes it a good strategy for some.
Hopefully that answers your question, SEO Fan Lead. Yeah. Reason to Design is here. But guys, we are here to answer your questions. So please do put your questions in the live chat. We know it does warm up and gets quick. Be patient. If you all pile in at the one time and ask us questions, we'll work through them in a first come, first served basis. And also, while we're waiting for you to present your questions, we also want to promote digitalunfiltered.com in Vegas, 22nd to the 24th of August. Caesar's Palace. You can join us for an event with some amazing speakers, including Ryan Stewart, Garrett Acott, Ruan Marino. Who else have we got? Clint Butler, Mike Pierce,
Brian Cato, Steve Toth, Mike Pierce. Lots of people. Lee Witcher.
Lee Witcher's in there.
Yeah.
So Victoria Altman. Terry Samuels is coming as well. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of top people coming to the event. So if you want to join us, make sure you get your ticket fast. We also do have sponsorship slots available. If you want to be the main sponsor or want a smaller sponsor slot and you want your service, product, tool, whatever it might be, in front of all those eyes, then give one of us a shout, and we're more than happy to talk to you on that as well. So there you go. Reason to design. What's your pick on data aggregators?
Well, as far as a service, I assume, because I think, what is there, 3 or 4 main ones, but then there's services. I believe Bright Local offers it, but I think since Mark's running the show over there, I think Web20 has it running too. I think that's a fair offer. I think those are the 2 main ones that will do it'll distribute to all 3 of them. I don't do that. I don't have the volume to offer that. They're kind of picky with that service. Yeah, it's a weird one.
So Web 2.0 or Web 20 Ranker and Bright Local.
Yep. They do submissions.
Maeve, hello. Hey. Joe, good to see you as always. Looking smart in that picture, Joe.
Says you.
I'm sure that was taken at church on a Sunday. But yeah, looking good, Joe. SEO fan lead. So yes, press releases from 38 Digital Market is always a good idea. A good way to promote your e-commerce site and all of that good stuff. So good. Eric McDonald, how important is title tags, alt tags, and images, and also internal links? Can they be more spammy than external?
How important is your title tag? So that's the first question. Very important. Alt tags can be very important depending on the weighting of the page, right? It's a good place to add keywords. It's still being counted. And then internal links, as far as importance, they're very, very high up on my list. And then as far as spamminess, I'm assuming what you mean by that is the addition of, exact matches or partials or things along these lines. So I think you have the most control over those. So again, very important, and you can be as spammy as you want because it's your website.
There you go. There you have it. Hopefully that answers your question. I can't really add much to that. Chris has pretty much covered it off. But in terms of images and them ranking, I had a conversation with someone this morning, and tagging them up. The question was, do these tags and stuff help? I think they help somewhat, depending on the power of the domain and all that kind of stuff. But it's certainly good housekeeping, if anything, to make sure that you fill them out appropriately. Either way. So there you go. Nicole, good to see you. How do I obtain AI that pounds hundreds of keyword-rich pages of content daily upon WordPress? So mass AI creation that automatically publishes to WordPress, Chris.
I mean, how about Cyber?
Cyber is one. cyberseo.net, I think the domain is, just for anyone who wonders what that is.
Also, I mean, Mohammed has a sweet tool. Human Writer is pretty sick.
That auto-publishes to WordPress?
I believe you can do that functionality, yes.
I
believe. I'm pretty sure that's integrated in there. You can publish to WordPress now. That's pretty sick.
One of those, 2, Nicole. There's probably a whole bunch of others out there that we just haven't personally chose to do. There's something out there that I've heard, I haven't tried, but some people in my mastermind are talking a lot about. Is it autoblogging.ai or autoblogger.ai, one or the other? I've not personally tried it, but I know there's some nuances and it's a bit funky to get up and running, but once it's up and running, people speak very highly of it. So that is just another one to look at. I'm not advocating it because I haven't tried it, but a lot of people in my mastermind are banging on about it just now. So worth a look.
Yep.
So hopefully that helps you, Nicole. Assad, how to avoid keyword cannibalization when we have optimized one page for a lot of keywords. Now we have made separate pages for each service. The problem is Google still considers the old page, which was defined for all of the keywords we had put. You're going to have to de-optimize. But Chris, I'll let you go for it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the main piece, is de-optimization of the original page and make it more optimized towards what are the head terms, title, H1s. Also, what's the internal link flow look like? Because usually when people set this up, it'll be on a top level page. Every internal link's pointing to it. Have we distributed internal links properly to those new pages? Most notably from that top level page that was originally tuned and getting all the traffic. Like, are you internally linking over to those new pages? So internal links and de-optimization is probably the best bet.
Yeah. Sometimes though it's a long-winded process. It's tough because historically, if Google favored something, I've found that a few times that it can be hard to shake that off. To be honest, it's a horrible task, but something you have to try and do anyway. Got to persevere and do what you need to do. Darren Muzzy is here. Gods of SEO. Darren, top bloke. Glennart, I wrote several articles using AI tools from Phrase and one other company. My content manager wants to edit the articles to make them less robot-like. What edit guidelines should I give them to preserve SEO?
So they can don't touch the headers. Primary keyword variations and LSI and entities, don't touch those. Basically, hey, you want it to read nice or do you want to win? It's up to you. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't ever. Craig?
What I would say is, if you're asking the question, I like how you just passed the buck there, Chris. Yeah, Craig, I like that one. I'll come back to that in a sec. But if your content manager wants to edit something, for me, basically you said that your content editor doesn't understand SEO because you're looking to give them the guidance to preserve SEO. They should already have the training, the SOP in place for that not to be a problem. Now, that's fine. Not everyone's content editor is at that level. But the fact that someone's a content editor should know not to change headers, subheaders. They should know what to edit and stuff like that. Now, it depends on the process as well. When you get content generated by Phrase or whatever the other tool is, what happens after that? It's generated by that tool, but who even said it's good enough for SEO? My content editor is likely to be the person that is making it better, changing some of the headers, some of the titles to be more keyword focused. They're the ones doing the kind of final optimization. They may use Surfer, they may use Pop, they may use something, but they're taking the grunt work from AI and then following the process from there. So for me, preserving the SEO because Phrase spat that thing out isn't something I would feel would be the right process, if you get what I mean. I would be taking it from Phrase, potentially it goes through Surfer, POP or something like that. Then a human editor comes in and fine-tunes it to some degree. And then it goes live. So yeah, that would, I think your process somewhat doesn't seem right, or the staff training doesn't seem right, but they should be able to do that, and that would be what my process looks like, and that editor would be trained in knowing what SEO was and knowing what a page structure looked like in general, and would have a kind of SOP to follow for that. So if that's not in place, I think a good solid SOP is worthwhile having. So you don't need to repeat yourself time and time again every time that they're having to do this. So hopefully that makes sense. But on throwing people under the bus, Chris, I done it to Mike yesterday. So we had a good friend of ours, Dune McDonald, good old Dune.
Yes.
So Dune asked a very generic question like, "Hey guys, I need help with ranking my Shopify website." You're like, "Oh, like fucking give us a bit more than that, Dune. Is it content? Is it links? What the fuck's going on?" And he's like, "It was a business I set up during COVID." And he says, "Mike, can you send me an email?" And Mike's like, "What email? What the fuck do you mean?" He's like, "Can you send me an email giving me some guidance on what to do?"
I saw that.
Mike's looking at him like, send the guy an email. And he's like, nah, I'm not answering shit without paying me. Fuck off, basically. But it was funny. But it was just good to throw Mike under the bus. It made him feel really awkward, just like you done there. You get the eyes and you get handed that question that you either don't want to answer or can't be fucked answering, didn't understand. I love doing it to you as well when someone asks something really weird in the chat. Like, yeah, Chris, you go first with this one.
Chris, God, you got this. It's like
man.
But what was good, you hit the nail. To me, it didn't compute, but you hit the nail on the head there, is because the editor, my brother, already has the fundamentals of the SEO because I'm the one that trained him on the SEO. So like he already knows, like, hey, make this so it's readable so I don't get yelled at by the client. Like he already knows, okay, I'm not going to touch the headers. I'm not going to mess with the keywords. All right, I'm not going to, like the score can't change, Yeah. So that's interesting. That was the answer. They should be trained on what not to touch. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric McDonald says perfecto. Mohammed Software is human writer, as Darren Muzzy has also said. No problem at all. Nicole Honey has a question. In the Webmaster desktop version, average position of keyword is 40, but in mobile it's 18 with almost same impressions. Why? Amazing thing is desktop version website speed is 90, mobile version speed is 40.
Average position of keyword is 40, but mobile it's 18 with almost same impressions. Why? Amazing thing. Because the mobile was seen first. Is there any type of change? Was there any difference in the mobile version? Is there any type of difference? Is there any discrepancy at all of why they would reward one over the other? Am I looking at this right? There has to be something that. And what do you mean? Average position is 40, but in mobile it's 18. What do you mean by this? The position of the keyword is 40, but in mobile it's 18. What
I'm taking here is they're looking at the desktop version of the website in Webmaster, and it's saying the average position of this keyword is position 40, but on a mobile device is position 18. The thing is that the desktop version of the website is faster than the mobile version, which is got a speed score of 40. So, but site speeds or those speed checkers are not the be all and end all of SEO. There's a lot more at play as well. So it's a
tough one to say. Like, oh, why is this instead of this? Yeah, it's tough.
But you can see discrepancies in your mobile and desktop rankings for sure. Why that might be? Is that down to purely just speed? Is that down to a number of other factors? I would say it's down to a lot more factors than just the speed side of it. So, but we do have mobile first indexing. but I think you have to work in other areas and, audit, analyze, and fine tune, and hopefully we can get you up to the top page at least. So, yeah, maybe more content could be required. Maybe more links could be more internal links. It could be anything really. So,
for real.
Asad Abbas, we have already done your question. If you ask a question, we haven't answered it instantly. We do the questions on a first come, first served basis, guys. So please do be patient. We will try and go through as many of the questions as we possibly can. But yeah, we did answer that earlier on, Asad. If you skipped away for a drink or a phone call or whatever, you can watch the version again. The episode again after this particular session. Eric McDonald, is there any average level traffic a domain should have in order to be a good backlink to obtain? Right. So that people will say, as a link seller, minimum of 1,000. Is there any good level? Is 5,000 better than 1,000? Is 200,000 better than 1,000? Of course, but that's just one little thing in terms of analysing the quality of a link. How many outbound links has that domain name got, and all that kind of stuff would all be other things to consider as well. But how would you answer that, Chris? If you got a specific number you look at in terms of traffic?
It's not as specific, but I am more inclined to pay more money if the traffic that it's receiving is relevant to the page that I want to point to. Also, too, I'm willing to pay more money if not only is the traffic relevant, but the pages that are indexed on that website have to do with what I'm getting a link for, and depends on where that link is placed on the website. Yeah, just the traffic, that's almost irrelevant to me. But I'm willing to pay more if there is traffic and it's relevant. And is it a homepage link? Is it a second level link? Is it a site-wide link? I think there's certainly, that's the gauge of price is what I'm looking at. But as far as exact traffic, no. Because if a site has 40,000 monthly visitors and it's on an internal page, and those 40,000 monthly internal visitors are from butt cream, and your site is about, baseball, is that, do we want that one? I don't know.
You take the butt cream link, don't lie.
If the price was right, I would take that link. But yes.
What? Auto blogging godlike mode is very good, says Joe Marichich. Joe likes his tools, and he's probably the guy who tests everything in the industry. Honestly, when it comes to tools, Joe's in a league of his own. But Darren has a friend. Darren has a question. Can you or have you ever put an iframe into a foundation directory citation listing?
Not on a real one. Maybe on like a self-curated citation source or directory. But like the probability of me getting an iframe onto, say, Foursquare or Yelp or, Super Lawyers is highly unlikely. So no, I haven't. Not on any real sources. But on self-contained, yes.
Not something I've tried either, Darren. I try and I wouldn't be putting iframes into something of that ilk. Not that it's a good or a bad thing, it's just not something I'd be pissing around with too much. But so I can't answer that 100% accurately in terms of what difference it makes, but we'll go with what Palmer said. Whatever you said, Palmer, I'm happy to go with that answer. Eric, what metric should I be looking from a domain if I wish to get a backlink from it? I mean, in terms of what metric in a tool do you use? Is it SEMrush, DR, traffic volume? So again, what constitutes a good backlink? Is it DR? Is it traffic? Is it the number of outbound links? Is it the amount of keywords that that particular website ranks for? Is it the page that is it the text that's surrounding the link? There's so many people going to have so many slightly different answers. What Chris Palmer thinks is a good link, I may consider to be complete and utter dog shit. We have different standards and vice versa. Chris may look at me and go, Craig, you should also consider this, that, and the next thing. So someone like Matthew Woodward has a 28-point checklist in terms of what he determines a good backlink. For me, that's a little aggressive, and you probably end up with very few links to choose from. So I think you need to be careful how much you filter stuff down. Obviously, the main goal of link building is to get good quality, relevant links where possible. Of course, people will have generic websites. Of course, people will have niche specific links, and that whole mix should give you a fairly decent backlink profile. However, I can almost guarantee you that Chris Palmer's not going to sit here and say SEMrush's authority score is what he looks at, or DR, or the traffic volume. I think it will be a combination of a lot of different things. So to answer this properly, Eric, me personally, if I've got a very generic DR40 with 40,000 outbound links on it, or a very specific, relevant DR22 that's super relevant to my niche, doesn't have a huge amount of outbound links, I'm taking that relevant one all day long. So DR is not the be all and end all, is the point I'm trying to make with that. So yeah, it depends on where that journey is as well. Are you looking for volume of links at the start? Your quality filters are going to change depending on where you are at in terms of that journey of building a backlink profile. But Chris, anything to add to this?
I have a lot to add, but man, really, I think for yourself, you need to make a list of what you deem to be high quality. Like, is the site getting traffic for my topic? How many outbound links? How many internal links? Is it on in page, top page? Is it site wide? Like, make your list of what's the best. And then look at the list that's being sold to you, and then start making your deductions. And then that's how you determine the cost and if it's high quality or not. You have to first know what to you is going to be high quality, what's going to move the needle, So.
And at the second time of stating this, Chris, it's clear that a homepage link is very important to you.
Very important. Yes. A homepage link on a hyper-specific domain that's getting traffic for my niche. Yes. That would be creme de la creme. And has a boatload of pages indexed on the same terms that I want. And all the traffic coming is for the keywords that I need. And there's no other outbounds on that homepage. Yes. Oh, baby. Yes. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Hopefully that helps you though, Eric. Lennart, the other AI tool was Stealth AI Writer, which is SEO Focus using entities, keyword density, and LSI, etc. So another, I haven't tried Stealth AI Writer, but another tool. So if that's doing the SEO thing, I'm not sure how good or bad that would be. Chris, have you used it?
No, I my mind is just like spinning with all these tools.
I've gave up now with the AI. I'm like, fuck it, all you guys can go and play and blow them all up and fuck around, and then maybe in 2 months' time I'll have a look again and
there'll be 900 more.
What's working? Because Joe Marichich will tell you, I've fucking said, like, I can't fucking handle it anymore. I'm sticking with what's working for me just now, and I will have a look at it in a couple of months' time and figure out what all these guys have got and go from there. My mind's broken with it, so
yes,
yeah, it's hard work. Hard work.
It's hard.
Tonya, they say get links from relevant pages. How do you measure relevance? Don't want to do guess SEO. What?
How do I measure relevance?
Yeah. What's relevant to you, Chris?
Well, the first step is topic. And then I'm usually looking at a tool to decide that. Is it in the same category? Is it in the same link graph of what I'm trying to achieve that the top level people have? Like what category are the winners in? What's Google rewarding? Is it education? Is it European Northern? Is it Asia? Like, what is it? That's going to be step one. Then it's, well, what pages are indexed and what are they getting traffic for? Then that would be hyper relevant to me. And then, of course, the page that I'm getting my link on, what's the surrounding text? What's the anchor text? But I think it starts with category of backlink profile that it's actually in. And then what pages do they have indexed and what kind of traffic are they getting? That would be hyper relevant to me, at least. Do I really care though? Nah, not really. Nah.
Some people will say a link is a link.
Yeah.
So you're going to get varying different answers with that one as well. And I also know people who fully expect to get, so if they're a lawyer, they want links from other lawyers, which we all know you're not going to get. So what is relevant? It doesn't have to be fucking relevant, like that relevant. So you're going to have to widen what you consider relevance if you want to get links at that point, because I'm pretty sure a lot of your competition are not going to be linking out to your stuff. So yeah, everyone measures it slightly differently. What exactly does a related search operator show? Is it useful?
What does related search operator show? I'm very sorry. I don't understand the question. What you're putting in quotes into the search engine and then typing related and then writing law firm? I'm not sure exactly what the question means. I'm sorry.
Come back with that, Tonya, so we can clear that up. Do rankings of support pages correlate with rankings of the main page of the cluster? If I don't build any backlinks, of course.
Not necessarily. Usually, though, if I have a bunch of other pages that are all internally linked to a specific top level page and they're doing well, generally, yes, the top level page is doing better. But can I say without a shadow of a doubt that if I get these all winning, is this one going to win? I don't think I could say that like blanketly and just say, oh, that works. That would be hard to say. Because there's probably, I never saw that before. Like, oh, all these pages are doing great, but the top level isn't. No, but I'm sure there is cases that that's happened. I would assume.
Cool. Small niche, all relevant topics are covered. All obvious links are acquired by both us and the competition. So you've done everything. You've done all your own page. You've got all the links that your competition's got. What else do you do to stay ahead, Chris? Is it CTR? Is it conversion rate optimization? Is it getting more links? So if you've got the same links as me and you compete with me, is that enough for you to think that you are ahead of the game, or do you keep going? How would you attack that?
Well, I think you want to keep consistently getting links, but that's usually the next course of action is the CRO. It's, well, the people that we're getting in here, how can we get them to convert at a higher rate? Fill out the form, make a phone call, do it, whatever the action's going to be. It's usually the next course of action. I mean, if you've done everything for the SEO, then it's okay. Let's start building out more supporting pages. Let's keep making this page more relevant, adding more words, adding more paragraphs, adding more text, re-optimizing, building, supporting the CRO. I wouldn't shut off the backlinks. I would keep them coming because there's going to be another player up the bat, Yeah. So usually it is CRO though, calling somebody else to really figure out, okay, the people that are coming, how do we get a higher percentage to convert?
Tonya also goes on to ask, large website lost positions during Google update. A number of crawled not indexed increased simultaneously. What does that mean?
Large website lost positions during Google update, crawled not indexed. Well, you'll see that a lot. Did you go back in and retune and try to index those pages? What's the internal linking? How new are those pages? Are they old? You know, we're generally going to go in there and try it one more time, try to clean those up. But if not, I'm trying to get rid of those, like those dead pages. Like, is the topic on point? Is it relevant for the year? How old are they? You know, do you let the pages just sit dead?
Content pruning is important. People always think adding content's always the thing. Got to get rid of that dead wood. Potentially merge some of it together. You know, you might have two dead bits of wood merged together that might make a fucking banging blog post. So,
but you don't let that stuff sit though, right, Craig? Like, you'll go in there, you might give it a go. Like, hey, let's see if we can retune it. But I'm usually getting rid of and let's produce something fresh.
So when I go to presentations and I talk about content strategy and stuff, I always talk about content pruning, and I always talk about 80% of my traffic comes from 20% of my pages in almost all of the projects that I work on. So you have got 80% dead wood there. Do you want that draining the shit out of your website? Absolutely not. So I call it content pruning. I don't know what the other, technical jargon term for it is, but I would always encourage people to get rid of the dead wood. Always, always, always. Got to keep that website lean. Do you know what I mean? Lean as you possibly can, and by all means, try and fine tune it. But if it's dead, it's dead. Get rid. Honey says no. Glenart, thank you for the edit guidelines. I now have 2 or 3 major guidelines.
What do you think about a penalty on a page, but you don't do anything? Just let it sit for a whole year. Does the penalty go away? Does Google forget?
Potentially. I mean, I have seen a number of different things from Google. Do Google forget? Do Google let old things that they've updated and patched become open again? Of course they do. I don't know, obviously, the mechanics or the physics that go on behind the system that Google have, but do Google forget, or does another algorithm wipe out something else that's on there like a penalty? Potentially. I'm not saying to everyone, leave it for a year and Google will forget about the fucking penalty. That's not certainly not what I would want to put across.
No.
But
just let it rock. Don't worry. But does Google? Do you think that it could potentially? Do you think there could be something in place? Because most people, I would assume that if they got a penalty, they would want to fix it immediately, right?
Yeah.
But what if you just let it sit? Do you think there's actually a timer to where Google will come back to the page and start recrawling and just be like, oh, this is back in order?
That I wouldn't comment on, because I don't think so. I don't think there's a timer where if you get a penalty, it's got like a 365-day timer and then they'll record. I don't think that's the case. I wouldn't think that was the case. But hey, what the fuck do I know in reality? Who knows? But dude, Google does some weird stuff, right? So here's a weird thing I'm going to tell you.
Fact.
So when we had the image SEO competition between me and a few guys in my mastermind, what happened is I went out there, I leveraged, Pinterest, Flickr, a fucking press release, YouTube, a whole bunch of stuff to try and win this image competition. Now, you know what SEOs are like. They're sneaky and all that stuff. Someone tried to grab an unverified GMB. Now, the rules were, if you claim whatever it is, the GMB, the image, whatever, it's got to have your fucking initials on it so that you can say it's CP for Chris Palmer. So we all start trying to claim this GMB. Now, there was Reece Sutherland, there was me, there was Mark Slawrence, there was a few other guys. We're all trying to claim this fucking GMB. Now, what happens is Lee and Honey Witcher come in at the back and they buy the domain name imageseoking.com. Now, that was the term we were going after. Now, Google automatically assigned them the GMB as soon as that website went live. So Google does some fucking strange shit, like auto-assigning stuff, trying to automate certain things. And so to answer your question in terms of, does a penalty come off when something changes? Is this shit automated? Is there a timer? These are all good questions to ask, because obviously we're just goofing around and we find out about the thing. But also in this image competition, Chris, and you might find this interesting. So I leveraged, I'm not going to go into the bore you to details, but in the end, I was up against Madge from Magic PR. So Madge launches a press release. He, gets top spot. I literally phone Randy Roday because I know he's 6 hours behind. Randy, fucking, can you squeeze this one out today? Boom, mine goes. Now, the same image I've got, the competition was won, Chris, and it was Yahoo Finance where my image was placed on. So I lensed the thing. Now, after a period of time, we all know that Yahoo Finance drops out of Google's index, that particular URL and everything. Does my image completely drop? What do you think happens? No. So now, if you Google image SEO King, it's my fucking blog that's got it. So whilst what happens is Google must auto-assign and say, right, that image is the number one. It's obviously on Yahoo Finance, but it's also on my fucking blog. It's also on my Twitter. It's also on my Pinterest. It automatically doesn't just drop that image because Yahoo Finance is gone. It auto-assigns my blog as the number one. The next in line. So a lot of people don't understand these things, and those little fucking games you play, you can find out a lot. And I think Google's trying to auto-assign and auto-do a lot of stuff algorithmically, as they would. Of course they do. But that's where I think a lot of potential mistakes would happen, and in turn, potentially fucking somehow auto-reinstate a website after a ban. That wouldn't surprise me. So that's a long-winded way of giving you that answer, but a few interesting little points in between as well. So there you go. Tonya, we all know about crawl budget. Is there anything such as an index budget, as in maximum number of pages that Google will keep in the index depending on your authority? You ever seen that?
Depending on your authority. That's an interesting question, Tanya. It sure does seem that there is a magical number out there, right? Like they might index a whole boatload at first, but how many do they keep? They say no. So I would say no, but I think the number's somewhere around 3,000, it feels like, doesn't it? I don't know. Like you might crank out all these pages, but then you look at all the top players in a particular niche where there's thousands of pages, and everybody has about 2,500 to 3,500 pages. But they all have like 10,000 page websites. It's very odd. What have you seen anything similar to that?
Nah, but I don't pay that much attention to looking for a specific figure. I mean, I do believe that Google is only going to apportion that. Are they ever going to, give you 100% of your website in terms of index? And I don't think that is going to be the case. I think there is something there that's going to restrict it. But yeah, I couldn't sit there and say, I've seen 3,000 or anything. I genuinely don't. I mean, I've got websites that have got far more than that on Google's index. So, but yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, Tanya.
But Rob Falco says his chats get blocked on your live streams, Chris. Don't know if you've insulted him in some way and he just blocked you, Rob. But Who knows? But what do you think about hiding a few keywords on a service page using 100% opacity?
What do I think about hiding keywords on 100% opacity? I think that's completely up to you, but make sure you're within guidelines. I mean, there's very strict and specific guidelines that Google says, like white on white is against the rules. Don't change with CSS. There's a clear cut define. Don't do this. So anything that you're doing that's not that, I feel is within guidelines. I don't know about that opacity. I'm not sure about how that works, but I would go take a look at the list, you know, like what are you allowed to do and what aren't you allowed to do? As long as it's not on that list, I think it's fair game.
Good answer. Honey, in SEMrush, keyword difficulty is 12 and cost per click is 12 US dollars in the plumbing niche. And amazing thing is, it's very hard to rank for that keyword. Why things are contrary. I mean, keyword difficulty is low and the keyword is not ranking. So is keyword difficulty always that accurate is basically the question here.
I can't recall exactly which variation of lawyer it was. But it said it was like medium and it was easy. And I'm like, I don't know. It was very difficult to win. So no, I don't believe that at all. No, that has nothing to do with anything. I look at the competition. Who's winning? Like if it's Best Buy, Amazon, freaking Google, Yahoo, do I think, and even though it says, oh, this is an easy keyword. Yeah, easy to index, easy to show up in the top 100, but easy to win. Like what's their metric of an easy keyword? Like easy to get indexed. There's not that many people targeting it. Yeah, because the whole page is owned by authority sites and the probability of you winning is 0. So yeah, they say it's easy because nobody's trying. So I don't know, man. I don't go off that. Do you, Craig? Heck
no.
No way. I look.
I've seen the same thing. You know, you get a keyword and you go, fuck, it looks easy on there. That fucking thing doesn't budge very well. So, yeah, it's flawed. But Nairobi SEO has a new client who is a gynecologist in YAML, whatever that is. Chris, I don't know why he's asking you, Chris. If Chris works in this niche or he is a previous gynecologist, who knows? But what should I look for in local SEO based on the niche?
Well, relevant of niche. I mean, still, I mean, what's the city? Who's the comp? What do they have? How big's the site? How old is it? How many pages do they have? Do they have a GMB? Do they have multiple GMBs? Very, very broad question you're asking me. Irrelevant of the funny niche or fun niche, I guess, or whatever you would consider that. That's a very broad question, my friend. What should I look for? A lot, including what I just mentioned. Who's there? How long have they been there? You know, do they have a GBP? How many do they have? That's a big question. Yeah. You're probably joking around.
Tonya was talking about type in related and URL of the domain of the website. So you think something like that's going to give you some good stuff, Chris?
Maybe. I don't, it's not something that I do. Let's see. Related. Then you're writing plus or no?
Give it a bash and see what it spits out, Chris.
Yeah, let's see. What's related? It spits out the most authoritative stuff related to a brand or a business. It's fair enough. Maybe a cool way to take a look and see like what the competition has or what's the most authoritative stuff according to Google. I don't know what else you'd get out of that.
No plus, just the colon, Chris.
That's what I did. Yeah, Looks like it just gives you the most authoritative links or sources that cite whatever you wrote. That's what it looks like to me. So pretty cool, I guess.
Nicole says Matt Diggity show discusses the contrary with a team who discovered a method that disrupts all. Of course, Matt Diggity is an absolute legend of the SEO game and very worthwhile talking to. I don't know what was mentioned on that show or that method that disrupts all, but he's certainly a guy worth following in the industry, as I'm sure Chris will always vouch for. I know you're a fan of old Diggity as well.
I like Matt. Yeah.
His dance moves are not good, but all round top guy, top bloke, top businessman. So definitely worth watching his shows to see what they are finding their end of what they're doing. So do check him out, guys. Vassal in e-commerce, does having product titles as header 3 in category pages help?
As a heading 3, is that what the page is calling for? Perhaps. I mean, I don't know what product. I don't know what category. I don't know what niche. I don't know what you're selling. I mean, does adding a product title into the H3, is that going to help? Maybe in some cases, sure.
I know what Vassal sells. It's dresses.
What's the top performer have? You know,
Yeah.
That's hard to say. Go and see what's the top guy have. Are they doing that? That's what I would do.
They're doing it, and it's been rewarded. You do it.
I'd try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as making too many blog posts about the keyword I'm trying to rank for? Dresses. If that's the only keyword, Vassal, that you're trying to rank for, and you blog about dresses, are you going to run into problems? I would expect so. He goes on to ask, how should I increase topical authority for dresses besides making links with anchor text and blog posts? So is it generically just dresses? Do you sell black dresses? Do you sell red dresses? Do you sell long dresses? Do you sell ballroom dresses? What else is going on that website? Because we're being given a very small snippet of information to be able to answer these questions. So whether you can write too many blog posts about a single keyword, I would say you can. You can't. You can run into problems, but in terms of increased topic of authority, Chris, how could they improve that?
Other than creating content around the topic, which will then influence the traffic that I receive, the anchor text that's coming in. I'm sure you're doing all of the other pieces, right? So I'm sure you already have the video, you already have the audio, you already have the images, right? And these are all tied back to dress. I mean, if you're doing all of the elements, then you're increasing your topical authority on that topic. That's it.
That is it. He sells all clothes, not just dresses, but dresses have the most traffic. That makes sense. Rob says, should all local business citations, name, address, and phone number point to the homepage only?
I don't believe so. No, definitely not.
Hopefully that answers it. Osborne Digital Marketing. I am very well, as is Chris. Hope you're good, buddy. Yeah, it is all good. Be there in 2 minutes. But yeah, guys, if you've got any last minute questions, I do need to knock off on the button tonight because I've literally got a podcast straight after this. I don't know how the hell that skipped into my calendar, but it has. So Yeah, there isn't any other questions. We have rattled through all of them, Chris. But so yeah, I do have to kind of wrap this up now. We do want you to consider our event, digitalunfiltered.com. Check it out. There's tickets available, amazing speakers, digitalunfiltered.com. Also, do check out sponsor Randy Rodet, 38 Digital Market. Bloody hell, I always try and say 38 Digital Marketing. Who does press releases. The link is below. And also, finally, our good friend, Mr. Chris Palmer, as always, offering tips, answers to your questions, and he does a whole lot more over in his YouTube as well as his website. So he's got services, he's got proxies. I don't even know what else he's got now. I've forgotten more about what Chris has got than I remember. So do check him out over on his YouTube and check out what he's got going on. But on that, guys, we'll catch you all later.
That's it. See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.